Well, welcome to the YMCA Canada blog, and we're here at the NAYDO conference. This is the 30th anniversary of the NAYDO conference, and I've gathered together some YMCA friends to just talk a little bit about their reaction to this great event. First of all, George Rodger. George is a friend of the YMCA, does many things for the Y, and is one of our greatest contributors. George, you were a founding member, the Canadian founder of NAYDO 30 years ago. I think there were about a dozen people involved at that time. Could you ever imagine that this would be the future?
Pretty easy to answer that, Scott. No, I could not imagine that. I am very grateful that the organization has, through its leadership and its aims and principles, designed itself not to serve individuals anymore, but to serve associations, thereby working with both national movements to see a continuation of a great culture of philanthropy rather than just celebrating individual staff positions. So no, I couldn't imagine it, couldn't be prouder, and I'm very proud of the current Canadian connection to this. It's been fabulous. The attendance here has been terrific.
Thank you, George. Thanks. Bryan Weber with the YMCA of Hamilton, Burlington, Brantford is now the chair of NAYDO. And Bryan, we were talking today that 10 years ago you were a volunteer attending your first NAYDO conference. Now you're the chair of an organization that has 1,300 people at the conference. How does it feel to be involved in this great organization?
It feels wonderful, Scott. I stand on the shoulders of people like George, but I think we're at a time where all the great work that our national movements are doing on brand is like a gift to philanthropy. We have a beautiful, wonderful opportunity to tell our story in new ways and in one voice across the country. So I'm extremely excited about the opportunity to be a part of NAYDO, to be able to take a lot of that work back to Canada. But the conversation, is, as you've referred, is including YMCAs around the world. And as you'll hear from Johan in a moment, I'm really excited about that part of it as well.
Great. Thank you, Bryan. And we're really proud of your leadership. You make all Canadians proud of what you're doing with NAYDO. Amber, you're about to pursue a career in YMCA financial development. Very exciting. I understand there's a young professionals program here. You've been part of that. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience?
Yes, Scott, it's an honor to be part of the program here at NAYDO. It allows individuals from my peers across the continent to be able to collaborate and work together in our different fields. As a young professional in fund development, just starting out in fund development, it's also great to see that such a strong culture of philanthropy has been embraced across the continent, and also that young professionals and youth in the YMCA have been embraced as well. So it's an honor all around to be here.
Great. Thank you, Amber. Marty, chair of the board of YMCA Canada. We have 154 Canadians here, 15% of the total conference participation. How does it feel to be a Canadian at the NAYDO conference?
Well, I think I've attended, this is I think my sixth NAYDO conference, and we've always batted above our weight at these conferences. We've always had great participation. Probably stems right back to the fact that we had people like George involved right from the start. But for me this time, I think the 154 people is impressive, but what's even more impressive is that a huge number of those 154 people are young people like Amber. And I really believe this is the future of the Y. We saw this at the World Council, we see it here at NAYDO, and I think this whole idea of really involving our young people is taking hold here.
Great. Thanks, Marty. Johan, the General Secretary of the World Alliance of YMCAs, leading the New Way, a very exciting program, and you know that the Canadian Y is really behind you in your efforts to unite the YMCA around the world. Johan, we have 54 delegates here at the conference who come from outside of North America. A new record, and I think the culture of philanthropy appears to be spreading around the world.
It is spreading around the world, and I'm very proud to be a part of this, and I think we have an inspirational experience here at the NAYDO conference. And I would like to say thank you to the people around me here, because so much of this has originated in Canada. George helped us to start this process. Bryan has opened up the NAYDO, and we've had very good and official conversations with the NAYDO Council. And I would like, as my last comment, to say thank you to you, Scott, for initiating the Investor Circle, which has now, worldwide, and thanks to a lot of you Canadians, reached $750,000. And we are on our way to the goal of $1 million. Thank you, my Canadian friends.
Great. Thank you, Johan. Thank you, everyone, for being part of this conversation. We've been delighted to have so many Canadians benefit directly from this, but what we really know will happen is they will all bring it back to their own YMCAs, share this experience with all of you to make philanthropy even a greater part of your YMCA and help us build strong communities right across our great country. Thanks very much.